Well, good morning, one and all. It is Monday, the 11th of November, in the final few days of my adventure in Pahrump. Thursday, I'll be headed to Quartzsite. Forgive me my distraction. I gotta turn the thermostat down in here. It is hot. I got cold last night, so I turned it up, and it's 48 outside and 82 in here. It's too hot in here, so I got that. Do I have it turned down? It's turned down. I'm good. So, what we have today is the positive news video that was commented on is Solar Food Farm. It's a combination of a solar field and a place to plant crops. I think that was really cool. And my long form video is a Pro Repax Winnebago Micro Mini Wheel Bearings. This is a video that a portion of my audience will find interesting. A portion will be like, that sounds boring as hell. But there are going to be a number of people outside the channel that are over the years that are going to be interested in this. I paid someone to repack my wheel bearings, and if you don't know what that is and you care, watch the videos. If you don't know what that is and don't care, I wouldn't suggest you watch the video. It's all about repacking wheel bearings. But you get to meet a real nice guy. He did really well in the video. So, Brian Kale 777 on the Solar Food Farm says, green screen looks awesome, man. You're really coming a long way since you started. I remember way back. Glad you're doing good. I'll probably be down in Q beginning of January. Well, I hope I meet you, Brian. And believe it or not, no green screen. It looks like a great green screen, but green screens are becoming less and less relevant because even these rudimentary editing packages will do a removal of background. So I pretty much for the news videos, I do what you're seeing now, sitting here. And when I bring the video on my phone, into the, I use, here it is. I use CapCut, right? And there's a free version of it. I get the paid version, but it's very little. Here's what it looks like, you know. Let me remove the background. Take it out. After you remove the background, it's just kind of my face in a sea of black. And then I go in and I actually pick a background, a picture that I took, and there it is. Isn't that amazing? So anyway, thanks for noticing. Ken Gray says on the Solar Food Farm, from plants that generate electricity to electrics that grow plants around them, we are coming a long way. Yeah, we're making real progress on this alternative energy stuff. I mean, people have complained about these solar farms that are just solar panels and eyesore across the desert. Well, if you can find ways, and there's another comment up here that will shed a little bit more light, even more light than the article did, on how you can actually transform problematic arid landscapes to be able to grow food using the shade of their solar panels. On the wheel bearings, Ken Gray says he does good work and has very good advice. But if you have a trailer, you need to watch that video. You need to watch a Pro Repax Winnebago Micro Mini Wheel Bearings. I learned a lot, and you will too. Valuable information. Ken says that on the comments video, that high-pitched noise, now people know what it's like to have tinnitus. Now, the only worry I have is that these devices tend to work only when on high with the repelling insects. So I have to remember to put them on low before I start recording because I don't hear it. So in the future, if you ever see a video that has that high-pitched whine, that means I neglected to turn them off, comment right away and I'll pull that video down and redo it. All right. So Ken says, high-pitched noise, now people know what it's like to have tinnitus. Not fun. On Lisa on your comments. Hart has been my favorite for 48 years. Love Hart. Kennedy Center was remarkable. I talked about the video I did on the Kennedy Center honors where Hart does a tribute Stairway to Heaven rendition in front of Led Zeppelin. Oh man, it's really moving. Ken Grace, 49 minutes in Walmart. I just released that video. Must be getting ready for next week. I'm going to guess 3, but I'm probably off on that too. I always ask people to guess in the comments how many non-listed items I'm going to get. And Ken, you were close. I think it was 4. M. Campbell on the solar farm. This is Campbell. M. Campbell has great info here. India has had overwhelming success by placing solar panel arrays over large irrigation canals in arid regions. The canals are shaded by the panels so evaporation is greatly reduced, thereby saving water, and the panels are kept cooler, leading to higher efficiency. Acreage that was vital but could not be used for producing crops is now producing electricity in every way. This is a big win. I read that California has noticed their success and is planning to do the same thing over many of their canals. What a friggin' great idea. Just amazing. So back to an older video. Avoid getting your LTVA panic revoked in quartzite. She just says, I want to see more of George. What a lovely boy. She just wants to see George. That's funny. Naj, I see you're a Zeppelin fan just like me. Yes, it was a touching performance. Mary Hartstock, all good to know, but I think as long as you're... Oh, this is avoid getting your LTVA permit revoked in quartzite. So, I don't know, that's popping up again for some reason. As long as you're not obnoxious and not drawing attention to yourself, you'll be okay. No dumping of gray water, sure. Empty your tanks at the dump station. But should you empty a small dish pan outside? A dog's water bowl outside? Pour out the last tablespoon of your cold coffee? As long as you're not drawing attention to yourself. I agree. Those little things, I pour a little bit of stuff that isn't, like black water on the ground outside. No one's going to give you a problem with that. The real point of my video is know the rules, and so you don't go out there blatantly violating a rule and think you're going to stand up to the ranger for your rights. If you're not well versed in the rules and their inherent, the enforcer's flexibility, you won't win. At least you won't win right then and there. Rose on the day before, head injury leads to marriage. It's kind of a funny positive news story. Good positive story. I can tell by the picture. Yes, they are good for each other. Let's see. Tommy says, Journey is 107 pounds. I'll lend you to lay on. He's a great bed warmer. Yeah, Journey's a big dog. 107 pounds. 4 times bigger than Dottie. Robert Ballard, the wheel bearing video. Robert Ballard says, Hi, Rod. Thanks for doing this. It's one of those critical service items that I have had done, but I never actually saw the process. The tech was outstanding in explaining the importance of wheel bearing service. I wonder how George was during when the trailer started moving. He was jacking it up. I think George was probably a little freaked, but fine. My discovery watching this guy was, if I really put my mind to it and watched the video and did everything step by step and bought all the things necessary to do it right, I could probably do it. But man, not worth it for me. Not worth it for me. There are a lot of steps. Nothing's really complicated, but there are a lot of steps involved, and there's technique involved, and you can make mistakes. The Hanks couple, what's the name of their channel? Damn, okay. In case you want to see it, is Hanks is their name. Happily Ever Hanks. So, they did one where he followed directions to repack his wheel bearings, and he tightened down a sealer nut too far and ended up having problems down the road. And this guy in my video explains how to not do that, and how to, you'll see in the video, if Happily Ever Hanks watched this guy's video, he wouldn't have made that mistake. Nancy said on the comments video, in the 80s, I went to a birthday party for a heart sister. Cool. So long. I went to a party in the, I think it was the late 70s for, God, what was her name? You know, what did we do without Google? The actress, my sister brought me to this party and said, hey, there's going to be an actress there that is that's in a soap opera. And I'm like, yeah, so what? I don't watch soap operas. I don't care. And I think I was introduced to this soap opera actress, and I was, yeah, okay, hi, nice to meet you. And I thought it was a kind of boring party. I wasn't very excited. It was Judith Light before Who's the Boss. So I met someone famous before she was really famous at a party. She said, so back to Nancy. I've been to over 150 rock concerts in my long life. Nancy's a rocker. I have tinnitus, plus I can no longer tell which direction the sound is coming from. I guess I have to pack my bearings. Love you. Love your channel. Thanks, Nancy. That's funny. Avoid getting your... So this is the third comment on avoid getting your LTA permit revoked. I'm curious. Is that like getting a bunch of views all of a sudden? Let's take again. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek at stats, analytics. Oh yeah, 180 views in the last 48 hours. So it's up to 10,000 views. So it's funny, every once in a while there'll be a video that racks up some views and then it dies and then it revives itself. All right. Amelia Raymond, how nice it would be. I wonder if that's the combination of a couple, Amelia and Raymond. I wonder if that's what it is. How nice it would be if there are no generators area. I'd like to be out in 1,000 acres because noise feels like an assault on my nervous system. However, I don't have the 10-gallon toilet set up. Well, see, that means that if she doesn't have the toilet set up in the LTVA, she has to be within 500 feet of a vault toilet. Well, two things. In La Posa South, I think there are at least 10 vault toilets. And even when it's busy, you can probably find one that's fairly remote. But if you really want to be out way away from others, I'm going to suggest that you do one of the 2-week BLM free stays and just move every 2 weeks. I think you can get away from, even though it's 25 miles, I think you'd probably be fine bouncing from one on the far north side of town and the other one on the far south that's like 10 miles. I can't believe they're going to quibble with you over that. They might, because that's the rule, but there's no such rule there, and you can park as far out as you want, no matter what kind of rig you have and no matter what kind of black tank you have. So, Naj on wheel bearings, great video. I learned a lot. Thanks. I think that's the last one, but let's reload and see if there's any new ones. And that is it for today. This has nothing to do with any of the videos, but I got something pretty exciting happen yesterday, and you're going to be the beneficiary of it soon. So, on a whim, I decided to hop in the car and drive to Beatty, Nevada. There's a really cool casino being renovated in a steampunk style with amazing metal sculptor artists doing tremendous things. It's not open yet, but they're doing the outside of this building and all this incredible stuff. So I wanted to go out there and catch some film of that. I wanted to do a little driving. And then at the last minute, I said, you know what? Why don't I just drive through Death Valley National Park? And I'm like hesitating, like, I can't film there because of the rule. You know, I had asked, you know, some parks, if you write them and do an application and describe you're a YouTuber, some parks have come back to people and said, it doesn't apply to you. The rule does not apply to you. You're fine. So there's a level of discretion at the park level where they interpret that regulation. And when I tried it in Death Valley a little over a year ago, the answer I got was, no, you can't. You can't. And I was like really bummed out by that. And so I decided to go anyway. I'm like, I can do still pictures, but it wouldn't. It's like, damn, what am I going to do? I said, well, I've heard the argument that if you do a YouTube video and you say no under monetization, in other words, you don't get any income, there are no ads, how can you say you're in violation? Because if it's not for commercial purposes, then you can do all the filming you want. The argument against that goes, well, if you put it on a social media site, which is a commercial entity, that supports the commercial entity, whether you get any money or not. I'm like, God damn, what am I going to do? Damn. So I was struggling with, do I do the still pictures? Do I demonetize it and take my chances? And I was nervous about that. You might say, well, who's going to notice a little tiny YouTube channel? You're not that big, Rob. That's not the point. All it takes is one person looking at it online and saying, I think that guy's in violation. I'm calling the BLM and reporting them. And that's how Kara and Nate, that's a YouTube channel where they got fined $3,000 a few years ago. That's exactly how it happened. Now, they were a big channel, but it just took one complaint. So I'm like, I don't know, it's worth it. When I got there, I was filming the whole way so my options would be open. And it occurred to me when I went by the visitor center, why don't I just go in the visitor center? There's a booth with a ranger that says information. Why don't I ask the question, is it still a violation if I demonetize my channel? And I got a very surprising answer. She said, oh, of course you can film, and you don't need to demonetize. You can make money off it on YouTube. It's just fine. I said, really? She said, yes, it's fine. Thank you for asking. And I said, well, when did that change? She said, about a year ago. So the policy in Death Valley National Park, I guess management had changed their view on that. And like, we're not going to ask for permits from social media people. So you're going to get a great video. I got a lot of great footage. It's going to take me a while to go through it. So it's going to be a couple of days. Anyway, that's it for today. Take care. And thank you for hanging in here for 18 minutes and 45 seconds. You're the best. Thank you.